Every day, founders look at their marketing dashboards and see a terrifying contradiction. Their content is reaching more people than ever before, yet fewer and fewer of those people are actually visiting their websites. Looking at this chart, you see exactly what's happening. The green line shows impressions skyrocketing, but the red line shows clicks going in the exact opposite direction. Marketers call this the alligator graph, and those draws are opening wider every month. 10 years ago, the internet operated on a simple, predictable trade. You published a useful article, pitched a story, or posted a social link, and in exchange, platforms routed visitors straight to your domain. It was an executive's dream. You could track a user from their first Google search straight through to a checkout page, knowing exactly which marketing dollar produced which sale. That era of easy traffic and mathematically perfect tracking is over. If your entire growth strategy relies on forcing a prospect to leave their feed and click a link to your site, you are fighting against the actual architecture of the modern web. The companies that control the internet realized that sending users away is bad for business. Instead of acting as transit hubs, major platforms deliberately redesigned themselves into walled gardens built to keep attention locked inside. This chart breaks down what actually happens when Americans search on Google. You can see this massive 58.5% chunk right here. That represents the majority of all searches, and they all end without a single click to the open web. If someone wants to know how old Paul Rudd is, they don't need to visit a fan site or read an article. The search engine instantly serves up his photo and his age right on the results page. The user gets their answer, the session ends, and no traffic is exchanged. Social networks are even more restrictive. This bar chart tracking Facebook's post reach shows a staggering disparity. Over 97% of all views go to updates that don't contain an external link, burying any post that tries to route a user off the platform. The rapid adoption of AI tools like ChatGPT accelerates this isolation. They function as final destinations, reading the web and summarizing it all so the user never has to browse for themselves. Declining website traffic isn't an indicator that your content is suddenly bad. It is the result of a deliberate blockade by tech giants refusing to share their audience. As traffic shrinks, analytics tools designed to measure what's left are failing to tell the truth. Browsers like Safari now block third-party cookies by default, and stringent privacy regulations have made persistent tracking across the web legally fraught or outright impossible. Add to that the massive adoption of ad blockers. For tech-savvy audiences, analytics platforms are blind to over half of the people navigating the web. Then there's the reality of how people actually communicate, inside private Slack channels, Discord servers, and text threads, spaces marketers refer to as dark social. When someone copies your link and drops it into a private WhatsApp group, your analytics dashboard strips away all the origin data. It logs that high-value referral as a generic, untraceable direct visit. This chart illustrates a Dropbox experiment. According to their standard dashboard, mobile advertising was highly profitable, yielding a 1.53 return on ad spend. But when turned off to measure causal impact, the real return dropped to 0.7. The dashboard claimed profit, but spending destroyed value. Marketing software is built to claim credit for a sale the moment it happens, even if the actual desire to buy was built completely invisibly, weeks earlier, in spaces those tracking tools cannot see. A company's website is no longer its true homepage. The first impression a prospect gets is built across dozens of scattered surfaces, a Reddit thread, an AI summary, or a featured snippet on Google. Buyers are forming their opinions based on this public record, long before they decide to search for your specific brand and request a demo. To win attention here, businesses have to build algorithmic capital. You do this by delivering standalone value, like an insightful post or a detailed data breakdown, natively inside the feed, without ever asking the user to click a link. Building influence on platforms you don't control is mandatory, but you have to systematically funnel that rented attention into a space that you own. Looking at this 20-year timeline of email performance, the open rate holds perfectly steady between 30 and 34%. Despite decades of massive internet upheaval, an email list remains the single greatest hedge against changing algorithms. This means you have to stop treating website traffic as the primary measure of marketing success. Instead, look for broad correlations over time. Watch to see if a spike in native social engagement leads to a lift in branded search volume, email signups, or demo requests 2 weeks later. The internet has reorganized itself. The businesses that grow fastest will be the ones that stop clinging to outdated attribution models and start delivering undeniable value precisely where their buyers already spend their time.